Okay, the health is good, it says, and we are live. Welcome to Tokyo Tonight. This is, I should check the date before I say what the date is going to be, shouldn't I? In fact, that doesn't even say what the date is. What's the date today? It's like May 3rd, anyway. Sunday, first Sunday of April, of May. So happy May 2015. Good to see you all. I just had a very good time just now enjoying watching My Argonaut's new live show, the first episode of his new live show, which is on an hour before this show. So it's a pretty good warm-up, actually. I do enjoy the warm-up in the comments here as well, so feel free to come by and drop a comment. But it is always good to see the build-up. I don't know, I think Jason and I people very much on the same sort of frequency with a lot of these sort of things, so it is very enjoyable to watch his comments, or to watch his live show. And all the best of luck to you with that. I think you'll find out, as I did, that it's a format that makes it easier to make videos. It's a lot less pressure and fuss. So yes, I took some time setting up today because I've got a new technical setup, which I guess I'm about to show you. There is I got a new basically HDMI capture. I had 2 attempts at this in the past. One is with the Blackmagic shuttle, USB 3. My PC, which I got built, has USB 3, so I thought it would work, but it didn't work because apparently there isn't a standard chipset for USB 3, and apparently that Blackmagic shuttle deck apparently required an NEC Renesas chipset, which my PC didn't have, so it wasn't compatible, which was hugely frustrating because I paid a lot of money for that. I still have that. That's one of the things I am looking to get rid of with the move. Another thing that I tried on a recommendation was I tried a gaming capture device, which I've got down here, which is the Ava Gamer Portable. 2 problems with that. It works great with Xbox and PlayStation apparently for capturing HDMI off those. However, 2 things: it doesn't capture off iPhone, which means I miss out on all the iPad stuff and the stuff that I wanted to do with the live capture of that. And although, as you saw, I could get it to work with HDMI, but the sound and the video was so out of sync. The lag of processing the video from that was such a lag that it was pretty much unwatchable. It was really nice to do. However, what I ended up getting was an internal Blackmagic PCI Express card, which is now plugged in. I've tried it out. I've tried it out and confirmed that it does work. And although there's a millisecond of a delay in the video, the video gets processed, and so the sound actually comes a little bit ahead of the video. And unfortunately, in the version of Wirecast that I'm using, there's no way to compensate for that. There's no way to stall the audio for like a half a millisecond. You can buy a hardware device that does that. I think it's a tolerable difference. I'm not using it right now. The reason for that is that I need to get an HDMI switch, because for me the biggest attraction is being able to do this, to attach HDMI to my iPhone and not my iPad. So this is another thing. There's all sorts of tricks that I could try with this. I could try plugging in the iPad, and you'd actually get the sound directly from the iPad going through the HDMI, and that would be really cool. Except you wouldn't get to see me playing and what I'm actually doing on the app, and I think that's kind of fun. That's kind of part of the deal with that. However, always capturing and displaying clearly the articles that I'm trying to talk about on my Flipboard, which is originally an iOS app. I figured that's a good way of using this. So what I've done is I've set it up. It appears to be working, and it is set to go. So that is something pretty cool. It means you'll actually give me feedback as we go along, but I think that the topics will be clearer and easier to read, and a bit more presentable. So I'll be doing that off my iPhone rather than off the web tonight. It also saves some processing on the PC. Yes, I can see the comments are already going ahead. I've got 2 tracks for the end of the show done up. I've got one really chill track and one really not chill track. I'll take a vote at the end as to what people want to listen to. I figured I'm always wearing the Tokyo Tonight shirts, but at the moment I'm preparing for a house move. That move is going to take place. I'm going to be leaving this place. It's funny, I came to this place just before my son was born. It's about nearly 6 years ago now, 5.5 years ago now. And it's funny, I originally was making videos, obviously, in a place before this, so I had a different background. I've gotten very used to this background, and I actually quite like the whole... It's very comfortable for me to make in the same environment. I don't know how it is for you guys watching. Oh man, don't look at the comments. Stay focused. Keep going forward. Keep going forward. Okay, so... yeah, it's been 5.5 years, and something actually occurred to me the other day. Oh, I'm going to get in trouble for that. That is the camera stand I've set up, which obviously is not stable enough. So I'll do that. Which is that I've mentioned before, I've lived in 37 houses until now. This will be the 38th house move. The longest I've ever stayed in any house was when I was in high school in New Zealand. High school goes for 5 years. Although I didn't actually go the full 5 years, I actually went 4.5 years. My mum went back to Australia, and I moved in with my dad in Auckland just for the end of it. So I stayed 4.5 years in a house in Auckland, and that was the longest I've ever lived in any house. And it just occurred to me the other day that this place, where you have been with me this entire time, making videos in this room, this is the longest I've ever lived in a house before in my whole life. And it's funny, it doesn't... I mean, it's an apartment, I pay rent, it's very nice, but I don't know, I've never really felt like, oh, this is home. In fact, ironically, the place where I most feel at home is in Australia, which is where my mum is, and I've never actually lived in that house before, but I go over there pretty much every year, and that's where I guess all the stuff from my childhood is kept, and so it is kind of the family home. It's got that place. Indeed, that was a Hiko Smash. That was my GH3, so I've got to be careful of that. I've got it set up and ready to go that we can try out the HDMI video, but you know what? I'm not going to take any chances, I think. I'm going to leave that till the end of the show before I start playing around and risking breaking stuff, so I'm going to put that down so it doesn't fall over anymore. And Better Call Saul, yes. I want to see that. I haven't seen that yet, but that is... I'm trying to avoid binge-watching American TV shows, but that is one that I will want to watch. But anyway, so I've been in this place for a long time, and the thing is, when you grow up moving house every year, it's actually pretty good because every house move is just a chance to throw a lot of stuff away and reset and renew, and I really like that. And I haven't had a chance to do that for 5 years, and as a result I've built up a lot of crap. There's a lot of stuff that we bought from the old house that we ended up just never using the whole time here. I've got a lot of clothes I never threw away. So I'm going through at the moment, and I'm trying to sort out what to keep and more importantly what to throw away, because the place that I'm moving to, by the way, is smaller than the current place. And yes, indeed, even the room that I'm in right now is going to have a double function. So I'm trying to figure out how I'm going to set up the new room, I'm going to set up the new look. But I also have to get rid of a lot of stuff. I guess when it comes down to it, I'm trying to think of what to do about this as well. Obviously, I feel better if people are using the stuff that I have rather than throwing it away, per se, environmentally speaking, and so on. I am going to have to get rid of the surfboards. I've got some homes for those waiting though, and I can get new ones. There's going to be more of a debate about the SL1200 turntables, which I don't think the value of those is fully appreciated. I should at least be able to get a lot of money for it. I think I'll get rid of the CDJs. I might get rid of the records and the record players, something I'm under a lot of pressure to get rid of, and I might do that, but I'm definitely going to keep the mixer because that is something I can use with the iPad and so on. I actually want to incorporate doing some more tricky stuff on the show, like actually using the mixer and having multiple iPads and tablets for making music live. Mr. Cordy Chap, I'm actually totally, well, it is definitely thinning out more and more. It's quite hot at the moment, especially with all the lights on at the moment to keep this room bright. It actually gets pretty hot in this room while I make the show, so I've got the aircon at the moment. By the way, this room has been a real mess today, and it's kind of dusty in here, and I just realized, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to blow my nose because I'm a bit blocked up. It's gonna happen today, so sorry about that. Oh, pardon me. Yeah, B-Boy tripping the boards. I'm gonna try to keep one of them. I think the longboard I'm gonna have to give away, and I've got a home for that. There again, my son is in swimming lessons. 5 years I'll be able to take him to the beach, I'm hoping, and get him using them. So I'll hold on to what I can. But this is all part of This is all part of responsibility. Victor is getting a crash course at the moment as well. It's very, you have to make a lot of compromises and adjustments, and you figure out a way to do it that's comfortable. But yeah, the new place is really great. It's a really great neighborhood. We went and checked it the other day. I've got a principle. I don't disclose work. I don't disclose living location or anything like that until after I go. I'm fairly comfortable now actually saying, well, I've already said I'm in Shinjuku at the moment, which I never said before. I will be leaving Shinjuku. I've been actually in Shinjuku in my last house move as well, so it's been like nearly about 8 years, probably 8 or 9 years I've been in Shinjuku, which is a pretty long time. Shinjuku is an awesome ward of Tokyo. I'm moving to another very nice ward, which is also very central, and it will be very cool. But Ben Duncan, well, the thing is, here's the thing as well with the music equipment. One, I haven't played them very much lately. And two, the music equipment's kind of changed. No question, if I had to lose all the music equipment altogether, that would be a challenge. But the fact is, my music equipment now is my iPad and my iPhone and, the spare iPads and stuff like that. So, yeah, the apartment is going to be smaller. I'm in a big apartment right now. There's various reasons I'm in a big apartment. Circumstances changed. I can no longer afford to be in I'm in a 100 square meter apartment now, which is big by Japanese standards. We will be moving to a more normally sized 70 meter place. The thing about a 100 meter place is that it allows you to build up crap, and we could have just moved out into the countryside and I could have extended my commute a bit and probably gotten a place the same size. But we want to be in a place that's convenient for both of us work. It's a place that's good for my son's school and all that sort of stuff. So we are compromising. We're moving into a smaller place, and that's life. That's cool. We're negotiating the details of it still at the moment, but it's all good. So yes, indeed, good to see a good crowd as usual. Good to see. Actually, I saw Jason joined, which was good to see. It was also good seeing his live show earlier. In fact, look at that, the comments are still there from the beginning. So we do have Let the Games Begin with Razo Ghoul and Testigo. You know what, I'll tell the names at the end, but let's just go through and just say a few random hellos. Dude Jericho, great to see you. Emily Louise Maitland, always good to see you. Indeed, Travis Moore, Elvis Ning, Man in Japan, Doty, B-Boy Trippin, Now on 5, Benjamin Harris, Sean Bro, good to see you. Sweet as bro. Who else we got here? Fox Morris. The problem with doing it this way is that I always skip over people. Kran, it's good to see you, and it was good to see you in the chat of my Argonauts show as well. Ben Duncan, always good to see you, of course. Booyakasha, Boom Shakalaka. That's how I like to say it. By the way, the Boom Shakalaka was when I installed and successfully tested that card, because I've had failures with 2 other devices, so it was great to get that finally working. And I would like to do a video test, but I'll do that probably at the end of the show. Who else? Well, Lucas Massa, always good to see you, sir. Nathan Richin, Nihongo de inu ga shukudai o tabeta, I think. That's right. Dog ate your homework in Japanese. That's right. That's the right answer to Benjamin Duncan there. Good Japanese education stuff there. Who else we got here? We've got, of course, there's my Argonauts. Jason, great to see you. Mr. Cordy Chep, always good to see you. El Camado, great to see you. Oh, so it's all a regular gang. It's really great to see everybody in as usual. Fernando Ramos, good to see you. Fun fact, the Spanish version of NHK broadcast uses Nippon as an adjective for anything Japanese. I did not know that they use Nippon as an adjective in Spanish. Interesante. Man, my Spanish is gone. I majored in Spanish. I was actually better at Spanish than Japanese when I came to Japan. Antonio, great to see you. And especially those from New England. Oh yeah, there's one thing, that the royal birth I should quickly mention as well. A baby who was born who will one day discover, probably when she's about 20, that she's actually also the Princess of New Zealand, and she really doesn't care. They're lovely, the royal family, but I find it a bit embarrassing being from a country that clings onto England and the colonial flag and the royal family the way that New Zealand does. It's kind of nice, it's kind of quaint. But seriously, it's a bit embarrassing to be from a country that doesn't want to even be a country. Although we have a good rugby team, and we beat the Australians at rugby league today, which it looks like was pretty good. Num, good to see you. By the way, did anyone watch the boxing? I watched the live comments on the boxing. It sounds like it wasn't actually Wow, it sounds like it might have been a good fight, but it was a pretty, wide points decision at the end. Pughead, great to see you, Pughead. I love your work. Love your stuff. I actually have been enjoying following your videos lately as well. Everyone go subscribe to Pughead. I hope I've got Pughead right. I'm pretty sure I do. Are you the person? Oh, you know what? I'm thinking of someone else, but I'm not subscribed to you. I'm sorry. I know someone who has a username like you. But do you have videos? Since I'm giving you a feature. You have liked videos, but you don't upload videos. Okay, so sorry about that. I thought there was someone else who uploaded videos, but never mind. Back into it. Anyway, Sunny Sanai, good to see you. Raza, good to see you. Okay. Oh, look at that, man. There's so many comments. I'm going to have to get into the topic soon. Finally made it, says Night's Work Japan. Always good to see you. And Eric Trimmer, Robert 1967, Canada. Japarican, good to see you. Man, everybody is here. Wow, what a huge crowd. Okay, boom. Let's get in. I want to show you the new setup. Anyway, I'm going to sit more over here because when I transition, this will magically work like this. This. Here we go. Okay, now where do I sit? Maybe I should adjust the camera a little bit because it's on a slightly different angle to before. It's actually a little bit wider, but the nice thing is, I think these are legible. I think they are legible, and this is actually much easier to use than the web page. And it's clearer, and you can see me. In fact, you know what? I could be really clever. I could actually put the comments and the news story at the same time and still fit on the screen. Except that would be being too clever live on the show. What should I do with that? You know what? I should do something like that. I just had a brainstorm about that, but I can't do that live. I want to do that live. I might do that at the end of the show. Anyway, so these are the topics that I've got to talk about this week. We are 15 minutes in. I'm going to see if I can get this in an hour because I need my beauty sleep. It might help my hair grow back. I don't know. So let us get into this. By the way, I see that, thank you, Razel Gul just liked the video. See that on Twitter. Don't forget, like if you like. If you don't like, it's cool with me. Eric Timmer, I'm sorry, Eric Timmer. For some reason, I always thought Trimmer. I'm sorry, Eric Timmer, I've got you there. And I don't know where Kangen Kodos has been, but anyway, let's get into it. We'll do it live. Renee Heltman, good to see you. Yeah, I might go with it. You reckon? Okay, I'm going to take a survey now. Should I just proceed as I'm showing the screen now, or should I try to actually make it so I can show comments and the topics at the same time? What do you say? You know what? That's going to take a 40-second delay. I'm going to do it. Screw it. Screw it. I don't care anymore. I'm just going to duplicate this. No, not that one. I'm going to duplicate this. So how do I do that? Okay, I'm going to capture the screen. I'm going to capture local desktop. New local desktop. Okay, so let's do that one. Select. So that means 12. Okay, and show the comments. Everyone's saying show the comments. I'm going to show the comments. Okay, I'm going to edit the shot, which means I'm going to have to trim this a little bit. Let's do that. Let's lift, boom, right a little bit, bottom. Let's just take that up. Well, top a little bit. Okay. I can do this. Well, let's just enlarge this. So what I'm going to do is set this up here and this up here. I can do this, I can do this. Shift. Wait a minute, wait a minute, wait a minute. Okay. Put that in the next row, so you know what, this is going to take about 2 minutes to do. So I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. Let's do it, let's do it, screw it. Boom. Add 12. Add presenter, local desktop presenter 12. Okay, I got this. I got this. Boom. Almost there, almost there. Enlarge. Okay, this will do. It's good enough. Okay, boom. Why is that coming up like that? Oh. Okay. And you should be able to hear me now and see the comments. It's a little bit narrow, but anyway, we can do it this way, and this way I can see what's happening on the screen as well, although I'm going to leave that down the bottom so I can see a bit better. I don't know if that's visible. But anyway, okay, let's get into this. So NHK poll. Apparently this week there's more talk. Today. It's Constitution Day in Japan. This is Golden Week. There are like 5 holidays or something. That means that, for example, today is Constitution Day, where we talk about the Constitution, where particularly Abe and friends talk about that they want to change the Constitution, which is all sort of fine. However, with the Constitution being changed, it means that there are people. Oh, I'm so frustrated by that thing being a little bit too small to read. But that's okay. Yes, so apparently NHK took a bunch of polls reminding that no one actually really wants to change the Constitution yet. 38% people still against amending Article 9. Most people just respond that they don't know, 40%. But anyway, that's interesting. There's a thing about a lot of news lately about how, for example, the constitution is about how Japan only accepts out of like 11,000 refugee applications, something like, what was it, 5,000 applications last year, they accepted 11 people. I've talked about this before. Apparently Sankei would, they've noticed that Japan's been getting a lot of bashing for this, so they've done a bit of an article here talking about different sort of cases as to why that is, and there are cases of people saying that they don't want to repay their student loan debt, or they want to come so they can send money back to their families and so on. So they picked out some kind of frivolous cases saying, see, it's not that Japan's being bad, but it is. I'm afraid. Yeah, it is kind of interesting that they seem to be at least paying attention to the issue, that they're not really accepting many refugees. Great comic here by Texan in Tokyo. Another feature, this is on her blog or on Gaijin Pop? This is on her blog, Hugging in Japan, and how people don't really hug. It took me a long time to get used to that in Japan. It is an aspect of the culture. So, yes, it was... That's a good topic, and yes, it is a bit weird when you expect a hug as a greeting and people don't. It leaves you feeling a bit cold sometimes, but yeah, that's what happens. I want to stretch these comments out to make them more visible, but to fill up that bit at the bottom, so it's like a three-way split. I must be able to do that. I'm sorry, this is driving me crazy because I know I can do it. I know I can do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to make it happen. Edit shot. Sorry, I gotta do it. I gotta edit that shot. Local desktop presenter here. I gotta be able to, so I don't need to. So I don't need to worry about. So that's just up and down. So if I do this, no, that tilts it back and forward. That's not what I want. I can do this. I can do this. Is it Alt? Alt just does the whole thing, which isn't really what I want to do. It makes it bigger. Control. No, Control tilts it back and forth. Shift. Click Tab. Oh man, it's driving me crazy that I can't do that. But anyway, how are the comments? Can you see them in full view? Where I'm looking at it in the preview, the comments look a little bit too. They look a little bit too. That's right. I want to make it narrower and taller. Are they legible? I guess they are legible. Let me just have a quick look at the live stream. I'm sorry. This is what I do. I improvise on the fly. You know what, that is legible at least, actually. So, okay, that's cool. I'm gonna leave it like that for now, although I'm gonna figure out how to fill in this gap down here because it's not productive and it's annoying me. You know what, I can probably take out the side banner as well. I can push this across so I can divide the screen into thirds. That's probably what I'm gonna do for next week. Anyhow, there's a great thing here. There's a little bit of a cartoon. This is from a TV show in the morning, and it's talking about kids these days, the latest new hires and why they don't like them. Problems with new joiners these days, and this is on Itai News, which is a Nichan aggregator. So the cases that they have here, I wonder if it's possible to zoom in on that. Here we go. Can we zoom in? There's some dodgy ads around there. In fact, what if I tilt that side on? Is that can help? Or do I have this aspect locked? These ads. Anyway. So, tondemonai, these terrible Japanese people, they basically, the first frame says that they take the day off in order to play video games. The second one says when they play company tennis, they beat the crap out of their boss. The third one is they ask for a day off work, like the second day after joining after the new joiner ceremony. And the third one is that Oyajis ni shitsure shitsugen. So they're basically talking about the staff in the place, like the non-full-time employees. The comment saying is Nande kono baba ga kono koto yunda. So basically, not being nice to the earlier staff. Most of the comments below talk about how most of the comments, the Japanese comments to this, they talk about how, well, beating your boss at tennis, there's nothing wrong with that. And yeah, forgive him for the tennis thing. But some of them say they also forgive him for being rude to the old ladies in the office and calling them an old hag. And it kind of goes in talking about how kids these days aren't so bad after all. But it's kind of fun. It's a bit of a culture thing. Bear66, good to see you. So yeah, it's kind of interesting anyway, just Japanese perspectives on. And by the way, a lot of these complaints about new joiner Japanese are very similar to the complaints Japanese companies have about foreigners. Just this whole thing about not learning Japanese corporate culture and knowing that you're not supposed to do these certain things. Next one, apparently Pixability execs are teaming up to write a YouTube channels for dummies book. There's going to be a YouTube channel for dummy. I don't know why you'd really need it. There is, as you should already know if you make videos, there is the Creator Playbook put out by YouTube that is regularly updated, and it is excellent. It's got everything you could really possibly. And if there is a problem for it, it's that it's so dense and it's got so much good information that it's really hard to read all at once, and all the information becomes out of date quickly. So maybe as a simplified guide, YouTube for channels for dummies makes sense. That said, I'd be kind of interested just to read it to see what's in it and what it's like, particularly on things like using MNCs, multi-channel or MCNs, multi-channel networks, using SEO tools, third-party tools to boost your channel, stuff which the YouTube guides wouldn't cover. I guess I don't really care enough myself, but I'd be interested to read it. So anyway, it's interesting that there is going to be a For Dummies book on YouTube channels. Right? It's actually kind of a bit surprising there isn't one already in a way. I wish I could make those comments go out longer. Dull. Anyway, I don't know if people saw this. Apparently, when Abe, the big story this week, of course, in Japan, I don't think anyone in America was actually very aware. But apparently, the big thing was that just noticed the comments with Mayweather just killed the sport of boxing. Hey, look, I think the fact that boxing has gone from being, I didn't see the fight, I've only read the comments, but if Mayweather is responsible for turning it from a sport where people, beat each other senseless and where people practice war and conflict into, a sport made up preliminary of men hugging and supporting one another, I think that's a good thing. I think men need to be more in touch with their huggable sides, from what I hear. So anyway, Abe was in America. It was interesting. When Abe first became Prime Minister, which was when? It was like 5 or 6 years ago now. He went to America, and it was like he wasn't invited to dinner, which was pretty rare actually. Even the Korean president and the Chinese presidents got invited for dinner at the White House, and Abe wasn't. Everyone was a bit suspicious of Abe. They still are suspicious of Abe, but there was this idea that he was a radical right-winger. People also were aware that Japanese prime ministers don't typically last very long, and he was kind of given a bit of the cold treatment when he arrived in America. And he was going to America to try to, be best friends with them, saying, I'm going to give you guys everything that you want because we want to militarize and do all the things you want us to do. But they didn't want to have him around, and he kind of went and said it was a very successful visit when it didn't look like that the last time. This time he spent a lot of time obviously with Obama. He got to address the first Japanese Prime Minister ever to address a joint Congress sitting, which was made a very big deal of in Japan, even though no one else really heard of it. Obama kind of made a speech, I think this is on the White House lawn, thanking Japan for all of the anime and karate and karaoke and manga and every other cliche that his probably very distracted speechwriter had at the time. I always thought it would have been kind of cool if Abe had gone up and done a similar speech back to thank Obama for, all of the guns and rednecks and diabetes and obesity, but no, that probably wouldn't have come off quite right, would it? No. Although, I must admit, I'm glad for all of the crappy TV shows and movies and stuff like that. We're just talking about on my Argonaut show tonight, why was this not broadcast? And I suggested maybe Abe could have gotten more time on American TV if he had actually gone to Baltimore and performed the citizen's arrest on the 6 crooked police. Interesting case there, by the way. It's seeing who the 6 police who have been charged are. I think there's been a presumption because the victims are almost always black. that this is another case like Ferguson of white on black police violence. It looks like it was a very equal opportunity of the 6 people. I think it's 3 white, 3 black. And indeed, one of the 4 people charged with murder or manslaughter is a woman, which is kind of surprising. That's really messed up, that Baltimore. I mean, that grey thing. And I'm looking forward to seeing the justice being brought with those guys anyway. Yes, another really interesting thing this week for geek news. So I'm running Microsoft Windows 7 at the moment, which is, I think, I've never used a Mac, but in terms of Windows, in terms of my computing life, Windows 7 is the best operating system ever. And I've also got a Microsoft webcam I'm talking on right now. I've got Microsoft keyboard, I've got a Microsoft mouse. Somewhere along the line, I've never really been a Microsoft fan. If you asked me, am I a Microsoft fan, I would say no, but somewhere along the line, they've kind of been getting their shit together in recent years, and they're actually doing a lot of really cool stuff. And it looks like they just did a bunch of announcements at some big, whatever they call it, Microsoft, annual event recently, where they gave a lot of heads up on what's going to happen with Windows 10, which is going to come out at the end of this year, apparently. And man, if Microsoft executes the way that they're showing a vision for Windows 10, and that's a big if, because what the vision they're stating is huge, but it looks like rather than try to catch up what Apple and what everyone else is doing well with operating systems, it looks like they've decided, after kind of getting beaten up on mobile and getting beaten up on a few things in recent years, it sounds like they've been working on a lot of things and they're getting ready to leapfrog over. And they are planning to do what I've been waiting for Google to offer, and Google never offered it. I've been waiting for Apple to offer this for years. They never did it. Ever since I got a Sharp, what was it, an SC03. It was a feature phone, but it had internet functionality, it had a camera, and it had an MP3 player. And I got this phone back in 1999 when these things didn't exist anywhere else. And I immediately realized, okay, this is crappy slow internet on a small screen and whatever. But I can see how this is music, camera, everything. One, this was a precursor to a smartphone, and two, I could see the future is you can have a PC CPU inside a phone. You're going to have the processing power is going to go up, and you're just going to connect your phone, up through whatever, through a cord, through USB or through Bluetooth, to a monitor and a keyboard and a mouse, and you're going to be using your mobile phone as your mobile phone, but you're going to put it down on a disk, and that's going to have all your data in it and all your games and all your applications, and you'll just connect to just computers will no longer be the big boxes that I have under my desk right now. It'll be inside your phone, and you'll just connect to terminals, which will just be dumb terminals that anyone can connect to and use anywhere. I've been waiting for this since 1999 when I saw it was possible with these incredible smartphone, feature phones that Japan used to have. And Microsoft is finally promising through Continuum that this is what Windows 10 is going to offer. They're going to actually have it so that you will be able to basically use a Windows smartphone like a Windows smartphone, but you'll be able to connect by Bluetooth to monitor and keyboard and mouse, and it will be a portable desktop that you'll be able to plug into any station, and the OS will appear like a full desktop, and it will adapt to whatever device you're using. The question is really... Asus does that with the pad phone, and they do similar things like that between tablets and mobile phones, but this is full desktop. So the question really is this just going to be, when you use it as a desktop, is it just going to be a really crappy netbook? Given that they're so partnered up with Intel, are they really capable of making CPUs yet that could be satisfactory as desktop computers? And I don't know, but if they really can achieve that, plus they're also promising that the Windows 10 is going to be compatible with Android and iOS apps. So you can have a desktop and iPhone seamless interoperability, and you're going to be able to use all of your... it's going to kill Android if they can do that, and I think they'll try to block it. Certainly Apple will do it. But the idea, one, you could use all of your existing mobile apps from Android and from iOS on your Windows device. And the other cool thing, of course, I think I've got it here somewhere. This is talking about how they're going to port everything to Windows, right? How they're going to have iOS and Android working on Windows 10. And the other big thing I've got here somewhere is this, the HoloLens. Again, I've been talking about this since I saw Oculus, right? And I've said this before. I'm going to be in here working, editing videos or making music. I've got 3 monitors around me right now. I'm just going to put on something on my head. It might be this HoloLens, it might be an Oculus. And I'm just going to look around and see 20 monitors all around with everything that I want to see. And it's going to be a bit like Minority Report. I'm not going to need physical interfaces even. I mean, I'll probably still use a keyboard and a mouse for a little while. But once you have these things on, especially, and the vision that they have of the HoloLens, that you go into a living room and all of a sudden you just have out of thin air a huge screen appear in front of you, or that you play Minecraft in the room around you. That stuff I hadn't thought of. I mean, man, if they really can make that happen, that is like... And I think that it was there for Apple to achieve a couple of years ago, and they've kind of dropped the ball by not merging their operating systems between the mobile and the desktop. So Microsoft really seems to have their stuff together at the moment. And here's the thing, talking about Continuum, about how it's just a mobile phone that's going to adapt to tablet or desktop interfaces. So the stuff that Microsoft is doing, or that they're announcing, if they can really achieve it, it's awesome. Pardon me. So that was cool. One thing with the speech that Abe gave to Congress, which again I don't know if it got any attention outside of Japan, but it got a lot of attention in Japan and in Korea to some extent, because Korea's made a habit of trying to prescribe wherever Abe opens his mouth. He was at the African Asian Summit earlier this year, a month or two ago, where Koizumi 6 years ago gave some sort of, or 10 years ago gave some sort of apology, a landmark apology there for Japan's war, and they wanted Abe to give a new apology. Abe went into Congress and I think he said he feels heartfelt reflection or something on the past, and they've always said they're suspicious that he wants to undo the apologies of the past, and so he said he affirmed all of the past statements of past prime ministers, i.e. the Murayama apology and everything else, so he's not going to change anything. He said that expressly, but there is a foreign policy going on with China. Actually, China less so, because she has now met Abe a couple of times. Park still hasn't. But Korea's trying to contain Japan through this kind of repeated apology diplomacy. Japan has apologized, I think Wikipedia has it listed up like 28 times. But they want new apologies, and they want to write the apologies, and they basically want Abe to grovel on the ground every time he speaks. And that's what they were expecting in the speech in Congress. And he kind of said he affirmed the past statements on the war by other prime ministers, and said that we mustn't deny the past. So he seemed to be addressing that without giving the apology, which some people said was very good. Some people rated very highly. It was only the Korean Foreign Ministry that came on and said it was outrageous and unacceptable. And another person who said that, and they're talking about the reaction here as Abe speaks, Beijing doesn't hear the magic words, but at least Beijing's starting to be more pragmatic and is starting to talk to Japan. And that's going to be a really cool thing there as well. There is, I thought I put this guy, Mikey Honda. And this is an interesting character. I've heard about this guy for a long time, ever since I came to Japan. And there's something involving Congress and Japan, and someone in Congress being suspicious of Japan, or saying that Japan needs to give more apologies or whatever. It's generally this guy, and it's interesting because his name is Mike Honda, so he appears to be a Nikkei. And I never really understood what his story was before, why he was the name that was always attached to the most strident criticism of Japan that came out of the US Congress. Apparently his story is that he was interned with his family during World War II. I think he was a child at the time, while his father went off to go and fight for the Americans. He was put into what many of the internees called themselves concentration camps, where they were imprisoned during the war. America didn't imprison ethnic, multi-generational Germans or Italians, but they did Japanese. Because frankly, like New Zealand, like Australia, didn't trust Asian people. They didn't trust Japanese. There was a mix of racism in the policy. So I always wondered, why would a Nikkei Japanese be so stridently anti-Japanese? And I had a preconceived idea about Mike Honda before I read this, that just like the Nikkei battalions, the Nikkei soldiers became famous It was amazing that while their families were living behind barbed wire, under armed guards in the desert in America, having had their possessions confiscated by the government, they fought. The bravery of the Nikkei soldiers, the bravery that they fought with in Europe, was kind of legendary. That these were among America's best soldiers. They actually embarrassed America almost by the way that they fought for America. And I wondered, is this a Nikkei guy trying to do the same thing, trying to prove how American he is by bashing Japan worse? It turns out that's not his story, and that's where this is an interesting read for me to learn a little bit about him. His story is that basically he was focused for a long time not on Japan at all. He was focused on the need to get an apology and compensation for the Japanese families that suffered in these concentration camps for Japanese families during World War II, which he himself was put into. And it was after a very long campaign that he was basically successful in getting a very, very clear apology, and the wording of the apology was very prescribed, and compensation paid out. And it was after he was successful at that, apparently, back in 1988, he said that his attention first became turned towards that there were similar cases to his own case in Japan, in America, on behalf of Japanese against the American government, that there were Koreans who lived under Japanese rule who were making the same sort of claims against Japan. And he felt himself it would be kind of hypocritical to not support them, having campaigned on behalf of Japanese in America for the same thing. So he's become a supporter of the Korean comfort women and people making claims against Japan for clearer apologies and compensation. Japan has of course made apologies and paid compensation for the comfort women, both through reparations paid attached to the formation of diplomatic relations with the current president's father, who incidentally the current Korean president's father, Park, besides being a military dictator of Korea and the guy who formed diplomatic relations with Japan and accepted reparations and an equaling of war records with Japan, he was also a member of the Japanese military. And some have said, I've read some accounts saying that he might have even been a war criminal for the Japanese. He was educated at Tokyo University. He was very pro-Japan, Park's father, and it's partly, I think, because of that legacy that she feels such a need to be so anti-Japanese, to show that she's not her father. But the thing about Mike Honda, although so this is the thing in this case, it is great that he's supporting the old ladies and the comfort women and so on, but much like the comfort women have been a little bit co-opted to some extent by Korean nationalists in Korea, who actually went and stopped some of these old ladies collecting compensation and a written apology from the Prime Minister, which Japan was offering. I get the feeling as well that they're also taking advantage of, that there are nationalists taking advantage of this to score points, which frankly is not in Korea's interest or Japan's interest as well. Which isn't to say that finding a satisfactory solution to the comfort woman issue isn't something that should be done. But at the same time, there's no question there's a lot of politics and manipulation going around this, probably from both sides actually. But that was interesting. Some excellent news here. You know how I was talking about when I was showing off the Ricoh Theta, that I have this thing with 360-degree spherical camera. I've got a couple more of these coming out as well, a couple of other videos. I'm just waiting to get approval for one from the YouTube space. What do I put that? Here, this thing. It turns out that GoPro just acquired a company that stitches together digital video into spherical video for these full 3D things. And by the way, I tried on the Virtual Gear headset from Samsung, which works with the Samsung Galaxy Note and Yodobashi camera the other week, and I tried watching a 360 video with the headset on, where I could look around where I was being dangled from an airplane, so you could be flying, and it was freaking awesome. I mean, it was really, this isn't a gimmick. This is really going to be a thing, either using the Oculus or the Microsoft HoloLens or whatever. These things are pretty serious, and anyone who's used that camera, the Ricoh Theta, knows that the quality is crap, but you can see that just putting a better sensor in this is what GoPro should do. I said that at the time. GoPro is just acquired a company that's going to enable them to do that. So it looks pretty clear. And GoPro's not even hiding that actually. At the moment, if you want to, one of the most popular ways to make a high quality spherical video is to get these GoPro rigs, which require 6, at a minimum 3 GoPros in a special holder. So you get super high quality and everything. But it looks like they're going to try to make something like a theater. That's what I hope they're doing. And I'm going to buy it because it's freaking awesome. And I hope it's going to be like 4K or 2K at least. So you get some better quality than the one right now. But yes, GoPro with a spherical camera will be freaking awesome. And it looks like they're doing it. I was just talking about this. I always like to take credit for picking these things before they happen. The whole Microsoft vision for how operating systems should be. I've been waiting for more than 10 years. I've been talking to people about that. The HoloLens thing, which I was talking about being able to have a virtual office and studio. Microsoft is going to get that. And GoPro, I was saying, GoPro is going to go and get into this thing, and they're doing it. So it's all common sense stuff, I guess. I'm coming to the same conclusions that the shareholders and the people in these companies are coming to, that this is where they should be going. But the fact that we're both thinking it makes me think as well that it's not going to be a gimmick, that this is something that's going to be really meaningful and cool. There's a link here. This is for the preview, although there's actually the full video is up. The worst internship ever, Japan's labor pains. I love Vice News. What I love about Vice News is that what Vice News offers that for some reason news doesn't offer anymore is this perspective where rather than having all of these pundits talking and sound bites or little cutaway shots of explosions or or walking around with a reporter with a helmet on his head talking the whole time, Vice News is very focused on going around and just talking to lots of different people and getting lots of different people's stories. And I like that approach. It's really refreshing. It's what good news documentary making used to be, but somewhere along the line I think they were paying their reporters such big salaries that they felt like they needed to justify it by turning it into making news about the personalities of the news reporters who you're supposed to trust, their judgment, and have them guide you through these things rather than simply listen to the voices of the people there. The guy who does the fantastic Ukraine war dispatches, Russian-speaking American guy, might be a Russian guy, I don't know. He came to Japan apparently, and there is a program going on run by an entity called JITRO, which I'd never actually heard of the entity itself. But Japan has a special visa program. Basically, it's an apprenticeship program, a technical apprenticeship program, where people from developing countries can get special visas to come to Japan and work as apprentices in Japan to develop technical skills that they can take back to their home countries. When they take them back to their home countries, so the idea is to learn, Japan's depopulating, Japan's trying to move a lot of technology and production overseas, so the idea is to invite these people as technical trainees into Japan and to train them with special skills that they can take back. What is in fact happening with that system, and it really first became prominent in Japan in the news when there were murder cases. Chinese man murdered a Japanese farmer. Why they arrested, it turned out the guy was being physically abused and he wasn't being paid and he was being treated like a slave and he couldn't take it anymore and he murdered his boss. And there have been several cases like this which highlight, they point to there being a problem, that rather than this being a genuine technical apprenticeship program, that it's being used frankly as a indentured or cheap or close to slave labor program. There's a lot of worker abuse that's taking place under this system. And it seems like, and as they actually went and interviewed and met people, mainly a lot of people from China and Southeast Asia coming to Japan, but they're being put into very non-technical, menial tasks, things like oyster chucking was one of the examples in the thing, farm hands working on farms, working in, apparel companies and stuff like that, just doing very manual basic work, not getting very much money, having to pay agents who arrange their visas and so on, and it becomes like indentured labor. And this is everything that I've ever heard about the system being. But it's funny, for all the discussion of the system in the Japanese media, I've never actually seen interviews of the people being of the workers, for example, or the people involved in the system. Now, one thing, I think this video, it's interesting to me, it hasn't gotten more attention in Japan because they will probably get into some trouble. They did a couple of things that you shouldn't do on a video made in Japan. It's partly what makes it interesting to watch. One, in Japan, if people don't give consent to put their face on a video, you are supposed to mosaic it out. In this case, there was an arbitration between an employer who was withholding pay from some Chinese workers. They used a hidden camera to film the proceedings, and you could see all the participants, and you know that they're not consenting to that. There was also a case where a woman was claiming kind of not rape, but kind of sexual harassment by an basically a dirty old man boss by the sounds of it, on a farm. So after hearing those claims with the translator, they decide in the middle of the night to go up to the farmhouse with this 80-something looking year-old guy and ask, did you sexually harass your Chinese worker? Which is a bit of a, honestly speaking, it's a bit of a low tabloid kind of thing to do, to try to kind of spring a man in the middle of the night like that, and they ran away when he called the cops. But at the same time, I've never seen a news organization actually trying to meet the people or talk about that issue in that sort of a way before. So fascinating to watch, a totally new angle, and it highlights a problem that's known and is really, really interesting. So I think I give some credit to Vice News on this one anyway, and it's worth going and watching about this technical internship program and why you don't want to be on it, basically. It's an interesting thing by Nippon.com, talking about latest stats for international marriages in Japan. They're there at the moment. Apparently 1 in 30 new couples in Japan, or 1 in 30 new marriages are involving international marriages now. So yes, apparently there has been a significant increase in international marriages, and it's good that these are stats that have come out of the Ministry of Health, Labour, Welfare, that they're tracking this, and they're looking for ways to accommodate there being more international marriages now. So more recognition of the increased diversification of Japan. This is my Instagram. I thought this came out quite well. I can actually show you now that I can use this app to actually show you how I make Instagram stuff. I can actually do a little tutorial, which I think I'll do one day. I can even show you the games and stuff that I like. The Tesla announcement on this big battery, which can come and help that, make sure that you get all the power that you need from the grid on off-peak times when it's cheaper and stuff like that, facilitating smart grid and smarter power management and so on. It is kind of revolutionary, but it's been done in Japan for a long time by Panasonic and Sony and others. It's not the first. It's not original at all what he's doing, actually, but I think what's interesting, it's a little bit like Sharp made smartphones that were very popular among geeks, but not on the general population, for a good 5 years before Apple came out with its first smartphone. But Apple getting involved in it is what made smartphones take over, to the point now there are no feature phones left in Japan. They're all smartphones, and I think this, I think the influence that Elon Musk is going to have around these this infrastructure, these home batteries and stuff like that, is that I think he's got the appeal to make this sort of stuff happen. In the same way that Apple made smartphones happen. So I think that's a good thing. The HoloLens 2, I think, is just amazing. I want to try this. I showed that before. Kubas just started from the start of May. It starts to get stinking hot. We've had a few hot days. Kubas means that two things. One, it means companies now are encouraged to save power and save the environment by setting the thermostat in Japanese offices to 28 degrees, which is impossibly hot. As you will know if you've worked in a Japanese company, and in compensation for that, you're allowed to wear like short sleeve shirts. Japanese ministries like to promote it by wearing like Hawaiian shirts and stuff like that to be a bit cooler, although without being cooler. So what is the next one? Apparently, yes. So this is from last week. So I think we might have run out of. In fact, this is the end of the topics. The last one that we've got there is apparently the thing about election cars making too much noise, and how although young people hate them, old people love them because it shows that the politicians seem to be working for them. So look at that. We're just coming up on the hour, and I've gotten through all the greetings, and I've gotten through this, which is pretty cool. I've gotten through managing to cover all the topics that I've got. So the only thing that remains is I want to make some music, and I've got two tracks. I've got a super chill track which I can record, or I've got a bit of an upbeat track. So which do you want to hear? Do you want to hear both of them and decide, or what should we do? I know it's going to take like 40 seconds for you guys to hear this, so I guess I can set up the camera too. And you know what, at the end of it I might even just hang around live, just leave it a little bit at the end so I can see if I can set up the camera and see how much better the image is with that. But for now, let me get this thing going. Boom, 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 boom. I I see that there are Greedo references going around on Twitter at the moment. Yes, I shot first. I can't believe that they re-edited that to make it look like that Greedo shot first. That was terrible. So, if I want to make this work, I have to pop over, I have to turn the camera this way more, and I have to turn on the mic, which is over here, and I think I've got that, I've got that, I've got that. Okay, so I'm going to switch this over now. Boom. Hang on, you can hear me now. So I'm just going to make sure with the next cue up. Oh no, that's not it. So, let me try this. Can you hear me? You can hear me now, right? Okay. You can hear that? I think this works now. So this is the one track which I can record. It's a bit downbeat. Non-beaty Sunday. Lazy Sunday. Bit of a variation on it. And then there's an upbeat track. Okay. There's a bit of a 25 miles baseline in there. We've got chat blocked. Let's go. So I don't know, which one do you want to hear? 125 or non-beaty Sunday? Do a vote now. There's a nasty buzz. Let me check this. Let me check this on back on the show. There should not be a nasty buzz. I'm sure that didn't sound good. I seem to have static on the output to that. Is that better? Sounds okay to me. Let me try refreshing the video and checking the sound in the live video. Hear that? Oh, I know why. Okay, I got this. Is that better? This might be better. I just tried switching it. And let me know if this is, yeah, sorry, I can hear the buzzing. I just tried something. It might have been the HDMI fault, which I just took it off. Also, that's kind of annoying to listen to with the buzzing. Anyway, okay, so I'll tell you what, the buzzing is not working. I can hear it myself. Okay, I'm going to take this off. Boom. And you know what I'm going to do instead? Let me do a quick... I can actually hear the static on this as well, and that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Let me do a quick check. Okay, so that is clear. So it seems to be this. It seems to be my headphone attachment. Okay. That is now clear. It doesn't seem to let me using the output mic. Okay, so that's okay up to there. Yeah, the problem is my Okay, so that's not good to know. So what I'll do is I'll record these separately myself. Well, you know what? I'll just play it normally. Oh. I'll just do it that way and get rid of that mic. So we'll put that back and yeah. Put that there. Okay, so sorry about that. That wasn't really working very well, was it? Anyway, if you can hear that, you like that? Yeah, no, so the problem, by the way, is this. For some reason, I probably need to power this off actually. It's got too much static built up on the head on this, is where the noise is coming from. It doesn't usually do that. I'll tell you what though, if you want to hang around for one more technical test tonight, I can test the HDMI video. So if you like, we can see what that looks like. So let me switch that over to here. So, final technical test for the night. Let me do this. I have to switch the HDMI connector on the back of the PC, so I will do that right now. Okay, so that now has my camera connected. So let me see if I can get this working. Set the power on the camera. Okay, so this should be pretty awesome if it works. Except, oh, there we go. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so check this out. Okay, so you can see the sound is a little bit out of sync. Is this tolerable is my question. Also, that is out of focus. Boom. Come on, focusing on me. Anyway, that is pretty sweet quality. How do you like how it looks? Can you hear the sound on this okay? Is it double sound? I should check that. Is it picking up sound from both the camera or did I think I muted it. Let me check the sound. But anyway, so that is looking good. And actually, and I'm looking at the video playback and it does look pretty much in sync. You know what, if I turn that on, cool. So look at that. That is super crystal clear, and it's in sync. So this is what I can do now. I can actually, after all this time, I can now finally achieve DSLR video with these things if we want to do it this way as well. So that's cool. Okay, so at least one thing worked tonight. The sound thing, I think I've got to power this off. There's too much static built up at the moment around. Oh, it's distracting. I can hear my own voice at the moment, but I can hear that that's working. For some reason, I think I've just left this on for too long and it's built up static around the head here. It's whenever I connect it to the line in that the static starts, which is a bit upsetting, but that is what it is. Let me try this one more time. The thing is that since I disconnected the USB connection, I don't think it's going to let me bring it back, unfortunately. But let me just see that. How is that sounding? I might be able to get a show, but oh, this might actually work better now. But anyway, I'm gonna make the tracks and upload those later on. So thank you for joining me. I hope you enjoyed the show. That was about 10 minutes of nothing, which I'll take out at the end of it. But at least now you can see I've got DSLR quality video, which I can put lenses on, so that's pretty cool. And yes, indeed, everything else is more or less working now, actually. I wonder if this will actually work now. I'm tempted just to try. The whine is definitely now gone, so let me just check this. Let me switch this. Am I gonna regret switching this? Come on. Well, that's interesting. It's no longer detecting the music because I disconnected the USB. So, okay, that's the end of the show. I'll see you guys again next week. 2.5 Oyajis is going through a bit of a transitional phase at the moment with Victor and everything going on at home. However, I am going to have Tokyo Cheapo on tonight on Wednesday. They have a new guide to living cheap in Tokyo, which is coming out, which is going to be awesome. So we'll check that out. And we'll probably, after that, we're probably going to get Atomic Boy X on soon, but we need to figure out a new schedule with Victor because the Wednesday thing is tough for him now, so we are going to have to reschedule, and we'll figure that out. But for now, I will be back with 2.5 Oyajis this Wednesday. Maybe we'll get Victor to do a bit of a cameo, and I'll be back, of course, next Sunday, and I'll let you know how the house move is going and the stuff that I need to get rid of. So I will talk to you guys all again soon, and peace. Boom. Sorry about the buzzing. I'm very happy that this works, by the way. Damn. That looks good. Okay, then I got your message, by the way. I got to respond to it. This is the first time I've sat in a computer like in a couple of days, but I'm going to go back and respond to it now. So cheers. Okay, peace. Stop streaming. it's still going.